I know I'm fine, but the money makes me handsomer. Walk around smelling like a come up in the answer for her problems, but I'm not him, I don't mind it though. You don't like me how you think you do, I like it though. I know I'm fine, but the money makes me handsomer. Walk around smelling like a come up in the answer for her problems, but I'm not him, I don't mind it though. You don't like.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Hopeful Romantic M.A.N podcast. I'm your host, Dropping Dimes, aka the Hopeful Romantic, aka the feminist with chauvinist tendencies. I want to welcome everybody. It's a big show today, man. I always go by what I get in my inbox, and it's kind of cool that I always get different, people write to me and they ask me little things, nothing crazy. I always, I don't try to dive into like, domestic violence or anything that's too crazy that I don't feel comfortable talking through a computer. But yeah, man, I get some interesting people write to me and they ask me certain questions. And one of the questions, what I'll do is like if it pops up a lot, I will definitely go and like if it's on repeat, I try to address it. And one of the things that I'm addressing today is long distance relationships. Long distance relationships, man. They're a fickle thing, man. They're like it's kind of crazy how it could it's touchy, it's weird. It's like there's so many aspects to it, and I hope that in this podcast I'm able to kind of clear up my opinion and just how I think it can work because I do believe in love, and no matter what form or fashion it comes, it just requires work. Like I always say, man, love is work, not labor. So essentially, you're gonna really you're gonna have to put it in, man. It's gonna be two people that are really gonna have to put in a lot of work to make something happen, to make it happen. You know, alone you're not gonna be able to do it. Together, work a relationship is work. By yourself, a relationship is labor. They say two people can move a couch real easy, but if one person tries to do it, it's going to require a lot more strength and a lot more work. And that's what I feel like, when it's just one person really pushing in a long distance relationship or with any relationship, you're going to find that. You're going to find that it's really hard and it's not going to work. It's not going to work out. Before I go into that, man, I want to address something. So I consider myself a writer. It's something that I really, really love. I've gotten into a couple of passion projects. I wrote my own book. Helped another person write a book. I am now currently helping a third person that wants to write a book about their life, and I'm also diving back into my own personal projects, right? And I'm constantly putting my thoughts on Instagram, especially at Mr. _ Dropping Dimes, or if you go on Facebook, it's Dropping Dimes, what he really means, or the Dropping Dimes page. And I will post a meme, and under that meme, I post my thoughts. I put a lot of thought into it, and I write them out, and I write them out in my style. All right. A lot of times, what I'm writing on those pages are a direct quote from one of my books. So this is my property. These are things that I now I know it's Instagram, it's Facebook. Oh, what's the big? No, I take it as a big deal, man, because I put my thoughts to paper and I really invest the time, every morning to kind of go into it. And, I'll find something cool or I'll find another one that I'll pull from back in the day and repurpose it. But these are my original thoughts. That's why I write the paragraph that I write underneath the meme. And I don't just post the meme, and I think it's fucking shady as hell, excuse my language. Right, there's a cornball out there that is refurbishing people's work, poetic work, whether it's really well spoken. So I put a post up, right, and it was about it's a post of a girl, and there's a circle around, the area called like the fupa, and I'm going to read it because I think that it's so if you see it on somebody else's page, like, hey man, and they got a lot of love for it, And I don't, had they just wrote repost, you know what I'm saying? Give a little credit to the original author. I think it's kind of foul that you're trying to come off like it's your own. These, like I said, these are my original thoughts, man. This is something I saw. I saw a picture of a woman, and she's not perfect. She's, a little heavier set, or, has that little extra pouch that I think a lot of women relate to. And, I put myself out there and I say, hey, you know what? So I'm going to read it to you. It's from Mr. Drop. You can go to my Facebook page. You can go to my Instagram page. Anywhere you find it, you'll be able to see it with the date attached to it. And as a matter of fact, this is the second time I reposted this. This is actually from a year or 2 years ago. And I reposted it on my own page. You know what I'm saying? So this person doesn't even realize he's posted something that's brand new that's almost 2 years old. Right? And it says, I saw this meme on Facebook. It caught my eye, so please excuse the circles around her fupa. I know the circle around the fupa. I know this isn't for everyone, but then again, neither am I. When I was young, I used to look at a woman and pick out what was wrong with her. Now the imperfections are what attract me. It's what makes me unique. It's what makes her unique. Besides, I learned a long time ago that because it looks good doesn't mean it feels good. Hashtag flaws and all. And I genuinely mean that. Like that's my philosophy when it comes to women. When I was younger, I would look at a woman and, oh, she's this, she's that. And I'd literally pick out imperfections. It was immature of me. That's what I would do. And it's so funny because now, right, I look for the beauty. I look for the beauty in a woman. And, her imperfections no longer turn me off. What they do is they make it unique in my mind. And like I wrote in the piece, a very long time ago, I realized that what looks good to the eye doesn't always feel good. You know what I mean? And some of the best situations I've ever been in physically have been with women that were not done up and body was not far from perfect, but they brought a passion and an energy and a feel and a loving nature and a caring nature to you that it really was made the time and situation beautiful with them. You know what I mean? And then I've been with women that have been dolled up from the head to toe, fake this, fake that, fake it all. You know what I mean? And I don't want to knock them because it wasn't, I'm not trying to say it was a terrible experience or anything like that. But there's been times where it didn't add up to what the natural person was giving me. So I've learned that over time. So basically what I've learned not to do is not to judge. Your imperfections make you unique. Your imperfections make you special. They tell me you've lived a life. They scream woman. That's what they do. They scream woman to me. So I look at you and I say, yo, you know what? You've lived. I respect it. And then I close my eyes and I experience you with my eyes closed, because at the end of the day, I'm trying to make a mental connection. You know what I mean? They say if I touch you with my hands, I could have you for a day. But if I touch your mind, I might have you for a lifetime. And at this point in my life, I'm looking for that lifetime. You know what I'm saying? I'm not looking for one in a million. I'm literally looking for one in a lifetime. The type of love or type of situation or person that comes into my life. So, I find it annoying that, yo, you know what? Just say you're a sucker, bro, and you don't have it in you to talk the good stuff. Just say that. You know what I'm saying? But on the other hand, at least give credit. Because at the end of the day, I'm a writer. So give me credit for my writing. You know what I'm saying? That it really pissed me off. And you got a great response from a bunch of women, right? 24 or 25 women. Let me tell you something. That comment has gotten me almost 1,000 likes on different platforms and different pages. You know what I mean? So you didn't even use it right. But whatever. I move on. Let's go back to my original topic. I'm done with the sucker shit. Back to long distance relationship. Do I think they could work? I am a big believer that anything you put your heart to and your mind to will work. But with anything, you have to have a plan. You can't just go running into it willy-nilly, not really thinking out the situation, and just being, oh, I'm going to do it because I'm falling. That's immature shit. It's immature. Don't do that. Don't do that. You really need to experience these things firsthand and understand that you have to think them out. What stages are going to come? What level of communication is required? You know, so I wrote some notes down, and I hope that I can walk you through this. And if you find yourself in a situation that you're willing to take the leap, and try, because we don't know how or where love is going to find us. You know what I mean? I just hope that you're ready, you love yourself, and that you're love worthy. You feel like you're love worthy. So when it does come, you're ready. You know what I mean? So here's my tips, dropping dimes tips on how to deal with a long distance relationship. Okay. The first thing we need to understand is that a long distance relationship creates a false sense of intimacy. Mike, what do you mean by that? I always say that for a woman, communication equals love. So when you're on the phone constantly touching base, hey, look, I'm doing this is where I'm going. This is what, and you have these long, beautiful conversations, and you guys are both choosing to be there and you're choosing to communicate. Yo, a lot of times a woman is like, that's heaven. This guy that's we're talking and she we all have friends. You watch them, they're having this conversation. I've been there where you're having these conversations over long distance, and you're falling in love with this person. Wow, this person is amazing. Oh my God. And the conversations and the depth of the conversation, the depth that we're going to. And then on his side, he's like, I'm being vulnerable with her, and I don't have to be. I'm sharing with her things that I don't really share. I'm talking to her about things, because these conversations are getting so heavy and so deep. So on her side, she's getting all the communication she needs. And on his side, he's able to be vulnerable and expose himself a little bit without really having to face the music. Even with FaceTime, even with technology, you don't have to be face to face with somebody so that they read your body language when you're expressing yourself. So now, why is that a problem? It's a problem because, like I said, it creates a false sense of intimacy, and literally you learn 50% of someone. When you're in a long distance relationship and you guys talk on the phone and you choose to be there from 8 o'clock to 4 in the morning, and you guys are doing the whole thing, and we're going to go see each other, and we're going to go meet and hang out, and we're going to go visit each other, it creates a false sense of intimacy because you literally think you know everything about this person. So now, how does that work? So you're having this great communication, and then they come to see you, right? And they spend a couple of days here and a couple of days there and a couple of weekends here and a couple of weekends there. What you're not understanding is that you're getting vacation version of them. Oh, no, but I spend time and I go. Bullshit. Listen, you're getting the vacation version of them. The monotony has not kicked in. You're getting the vacation version, the happy version, where they can leave their problems behind, come to you, and everything is good. So you get to know 50% of them, right? You may see them angry, may see them upset, but have you seen them under pressure? Real pressure, financial pressure. Have you seen them when the families has pressure on them, when there's a situation with their family? Have you seen them really dive into situations, you know what I mean, that you were like, oh, it's not a one-day fix. It may not even be a 1 month fix. Who is this person when they lose their job? They say you want to know somebody when they have everything and when they have nothing. Who are these people? These are things only time can bring you, right? So when a lot of times they say love comes in like a quiet storm, it doesn't come in like a hurricane. So a lot of times with long distance relationships, it's like a hurricane. You meet this amazing person, you've had these great conversations, the sex is amazing, and every time you guys are near each other, it's just nothing but fun, and this is my soulmate. But you're literally falling in love with about 50 to 60% of who this person really is. You haven't seen the day-to-day. How does this person react when they're bored? Like really bored. Like when their life has taken a turn where it's like yo, there's nothing going on right now. How does this person react when when there's responsibility on the line, but there's a good time to be had. Can you trust them? Who's this person with money? Not vacation money where they come and they put a little bit away, and the money that they bring is to spend on you and to have a good time and to show you, yeah, let's do this. What about their savings account? What about their credit card debt? There's a lot you don't know about them. So my advice is understand. If you can walk into a long distance relationship with the understanding that, okay, I am getting to know 50% of this person. I have to understand that when this person, I start to see them every day, or let's say I decide to live with them, there's a whole nother part of them that I'm going to have to learn. And I'm talking about simple shit, man. Does this person clean, cook? Or do they cook, then clean? Or is it I cook, you clean? Or is it, oh, I leave dishes there soaking for a couple of hours, for a couple of days, and then I'll get back to them. They're soaking. And then you're a clean freak. Is it I grab the toothpaste from the bottom up? Or do I cut it right in the middle and just squeeze? How do I flip my toilet paper? Is it in and out? In or out? Do I use a washcloth and she uses soap? There's a lot of simple things. These little simple things that happen only when you spend time with people. Only when you spend time with people. Only when you're one-on-one with them. You know what I mean? And you actually learn the ins and outs. Is their room dirty? Is it only clean when I come, when I show up? I'm here now. So maybe they cleaned up. I was in a long distance relationship and I turned into Susie Homemaker. I would turn into Susie Homemaker whenever she was on her way. It was the funniest thing ever. And I wouldn't hide it or anything, because for the most part, I wouldn't even do anything. I wasn't that type. I wasn't overly dirty or anything, but I definitely wasn't like, again, Susie, I wasn't Mr. Clean. You know what I mean? But as soon as she would come, oh my God, my kitchen was spotless. My bed was made. Toilet and bathroom were spotless, which if you're a single guy and you live by yourself, you know that shit ain't true. You know there's some shit going on in your bathroom and you're like, God damn, sometimes. But for her, but then once you start to close the gap and she sees you every day and you guys got to get used to each other, you're like, yeah, maybe I don't have to scrub as hard. Maybe I don't have to clean as much. Whatever. And then she starts to see the real you. Oh, he's not a neat freak. Oh, he doesn't like to clean. He leaves dishes in there for hours. Like, what the fuck? Like, what's wrong with this dude? And you start to see. And that's the other 50%. Oh, he look at the way he reacts to children. He's spaz. Why is he always spazzing? Like, why is he acting like that? Like, why does he get flustered when there's a crowd? You know what I mean? Why does he drink when he's alone? Why is he why doesn't he, like, isn't he compromising with the TV? Why does he hog it up like he's the only one in the room? There's so many different things. You start to see the selfish side of people. You know what I mean? Going into the refrigerator, grabbing the milk or whatever. Downing it. You're like, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing? You can't, you know what I'm saying? There's so much that goes into knowing someone that if you get wrapped up in the initial wave of, oh my God, I'm in love and this is amazing and the person is so sweet and so cool and they're the best, yo, you're fucking up, man. I promise you're fucking up. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work, buddy. You can't. You have to get to know the full person. And you have to walk into the situation understanding they're not perfect. Stop painting that picture in your head. It's like with any relationship, but it has to be like almost thought about in advance when you're in this type of relationship. These are things as an adult you walk into. So I want to go over some other things. I feel like when it comes to long distance relationships, there's phases. Just like in regular relationships, but there's phases. there's that initial phase, right? Where again, you're getting all the communication and you guys are like bonding over the phone and the FaceTime and being cute with each other, romantic, and sending each other gifts and making plans to go see each other because, oh my God, this person is the most amazing person I've ever met in my life. That's that initial phase. It's it's a beautiful phase. And I advise anybody to really enjoy that, man. It's a beautiful time in any relationship, you know. Um, I promise you, soak it in. It's fun, enjoy it, but that's gonna end. That's gonna end. And from that relationship, right, from the initial part, it definitely goes into there's a transition phase. What is the transition phase? The transition phase of a relationship, a long distance relationship, is when okay, we've done the year or two of going back and forth, and now we're kind of like looking at each other like, what's next? Is this something that we've come to an end, and we're just gonna kind of like leave it where it's at, or are we going to like make plans with each other? Is this gonna be something that we take to the next level? Now, this is the phase where when you go to visit each other, you're no longer doing vacation type stuff, staycations, getaways, leaving on trips. You're no longer doing that. Now, you guys are spending time together, and the time you're spending together is more kind of in line with the routine of what the relationship would look like. So now you're visiting family, and there's family events, and you're sitting there and you're kind of getting to know who the players are. Who the mom, the dad, the sister, the brother. You're starting to really understand who she is within the dynamic of her family. And that is one of the important keys. That's really one of the important keys of getting to know who she is within the dynamic of her family. Okay? Because when you're in a long distance relationship, it's very easy for that person to convince you that there's some type of matriarch, that they're one of the leaders, one of the heads of their family. Oh, and everybody comes to me, and everybody, and oh my God, and me, and I'm the one that like has to give everybody, and I'm the one that they come to, and I'm the one that talks to everybody, and I'm the one, whatever, whatever, whatever. Well, in the transition phase, in the initial phase, you believe them and you take them for their word. In the transition phase, now what you're doing is you're putting that to the test, and you're doing the math in your head. Oh, you're the third one. You're the black sheep in your family. Your family meets me and they're like, oh, another one? Or this time? All right, well, we'll see. And they don't have any faith in your decision making. And you start to realize, oh, this person has been a bit of a, for lack of a better word, a bit of a fuck up. And their family has no real faith in them. Or when they speak, their family doesn't really jump. They don't really galvanize around their words. You know what I mean? They kind of look at them like, all right, leave the decisions to the adults. That's the transition phase. You start to really see it's one of the main things that happens. You start to see that person's place within their family. And you start to say to yourself, okay, okay. Oh, you are the leader. You're the oldest. Oh, you're the baby that everybody's putting expectations on and putting pressure on. Oh, you're the black sheep. You're the one that doesn't give a shit. You're just bringing me around because finally you got your act together and you look good. You know what I'm saying? So you want to look good in front of your family. Okay. Or you're another mistake. There, everybody's treating you like, yeah, we'll see if she pops up with him next month. You know what I mean? These are all things you start to realize. And you start to learn about family history. You start to see what family member she's allowing you to be next to and who she or he is keeping you away from. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I met his whole family. I met his family. I met his sister. Let me tell you something, ladies. If you met a man's sister, That's the sister he wants you to meet. If you met a guy's sister, that's the sister he wants you to meet. That's not the one you want to talk to. Now be careful, because you also don't want to talk to the one that's, gonna shit on him. But there's one in between there. That there's an aunt that's gonna keep it real. There's a sister that's gonna keep it real. There's a stepfather or a mother that's gonna be like, yo, listen, I've had it happen to me, man. I've had it happen to me. I thought I had struck gold, and the person was a great person. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to do that. And I'm around their stepfather, and the stepfather looks at me and goes, yo, bro, look, man, I care about her a lot. I love her, but you're way too good for her, man. She's got a lot of problems. And I'm like, because remember, they're gonna prep you. See, here's the thing. In the long distance thing, the long distance relationship, they're gonna prep you with who's full of it and who's good and who's bad. You know what I'm saying? So I was prepped like, oh, this guy talks shit. And then I met him and he said some real shit to me that later on I noticed. He's like, yo, you're too good for that, man. Just look, get away while you can, blah, blah. And exactly what he said happened. Exactly what he said happened. And that's what tends to happen in the transition phase. They keep you keep people away from who you want to keep them away from. And you let them into the people that you want them to be around to fit your narrative, to fit your story, right? But eventually, with the time, in that transition phase, everything starts to become clear on who that person really is, the status that they have within their own family, where they rank. Where they rank, you'll start to be able to see that. Now, I'm not saying that this is a reason to leave somebody or to walk away from them. No, my point is that these are things that you don't see in the initial phase. These are things that you start to see as time goes on, and time starts to move on, and you'll start to open up and be like, oh, and these are really important because when you're with this person, you they say, you're kind of going to be with their family, and you want to know, like, yo, am I walking into every room and they're laughing at me, talking shit about me, or like what is this? Like what kind of person am I really with? Because you only know what they told you. You only set the narrative that they've given you. So according to them, they don't use drugs. No, they love education and they're neat freaks and whatever. And then you talk to the family, and the family's like, yo, bro, she's had a bout with some issues and she, this and she's constantly switching guys from here to here and and blah, blah, blah. And be careful, she steals and da, da, da. And you hear all this shit. And you're like, what? What the fuck? That's the transition phase. It's part B. And I'm gonna stop because I've been cleared to do the commercials, but I don't have the equipment and stuff yet. But I'm really excited, ladies and gentlemen. I am now working with Manscaped and Celsius, and they sent me 1 or 2 products, just little sample things. And guys, if you're still shaving your privates with regular like razors or regular clippers and stuff, yo, man, stop. This is a game changer, bro. This is a game changer. Not having to worry about nicks on your nuts, not having to worry about scratches and little pricks and stuff on your skin and all that stuff, and you can go in little places and crevices without having to worry. I promise you, you'll love it. But like I said, once I have my products and everything set up, I can't wait to really bring that partnership to fruition for you guys. The second one is Celsius, man. I am somebody who, I work a lot, man. I work a lot, whether it's through my creative process or whether it's hustling and running around and just doing stuff. And I'm constantly on the move with different things. And sometimes I need that little extra boost. And I never liked the crash. But, for once in my life, I found something that I don't crash, man. I kind of come down easy and it lasts a long time. You know what I mean? I got to the point where I don't drink it too late because if I do, I'm going to be up all night working, moving. You know what I'm saying? But if I hit it right at the right time, and I haven't really found a flavor that I don't like. So far, all of them have been pretty good. But again, man, I'm super excited to be working with these two companies, and I'm also going to be doing giveaways in the near future. Where if you send me an email or send me a message on my Dropping Dimes as part of a question, I will send you some free products. You know what I mean, to you as a thank you, and I'm excited about that. And right now, I'm going to take a little moment to do what my favorite right now. What my favorite sponsors, and that is my friends, uh, Queen Meach. So let's take a moment and just let me In this life, some people are in a rush to reach their destination, while others prefer to enjoy the ride. Some drink to get drunk, and some savor the taste of fine wine or over a good meal. If you're on the latter, sit back and delight in a unique journey with Queen Meats International. Her sense and unique infusion methods are designed to take the proverbial edge out of life. Queen Meats' number one goal is to guide you down a more sophisticated and gentle cannabis experience, perfect for meditation, yoga, or turning down from the stress of daily life. Backed by hours of research, our candles are made from a unique blend of imported oils and a wick that burns slower and cleaner to get the most out of your investment. If you're someone who enjoys the finer things in life, we would love to be your introduction to the high life. You can find us on Instagram at Queen Meats International. You could also email us at thequeenmeats@gmail.com, and I will be posting a link down below. Here we go. And we are. And now we're back to the second half of the show. And okay, so we talked about the initial, we talked about the transition, and now let's talk about the commitment phase. So you've seen her family, his family. You kind of started to get an idea of who this person is and what they, who they are. And it's cool. It's dope. It's they're you're falling for them. You really love them. You're like, yo, you know what? This is my person. What's next? I'll tell you what's next. What's next is deciding and examining each other's lives and making an honest assessment of each other's lives. Who is more mobile? Oh, you have children. You don't want to displace your children. Okay, cool. I don't have children. Or I have one child that lives with their mother. Or I have, I'm whatever. My job is flexible. I could work from home. Or I can work anywhere. I could work remote. My job is able, I could transfer. Well, I have a career that I can take anywhere because it's mine. I have an ability to make money in different fashions in different places. These are all things that you have to discuss and you have to talk about. What are the things that I like about your city and where you live? One of the toughest things to do is to move to somebody else's home base. It sounds easy because you're like, I love this person. I'm with them. This is so cool. Sorry about that, guys. This is so cool. I'm how do I say this? Let me see. I'm here. I can adapt. What do I like about this city? What do I see? Do I see myself in this environment? You have your backbone, your structure is here, right? How do I feel about that? There's nothing worse than moving into somebody else's area, and you're in their power structure, and when they're having a hard time, when times get tough, they have somewhere to go, and you're sitting there twiddling your fingers, not knowing where to go, where to hang out, where to get away. Now you can't just go to your sister's house, sit there on her porch and talk to her. You can't um you can't sit in, what do you call it? You can't sit in and 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 just chat with a relative that's, a step away. Your best friends are probably still in your hometown. And yeah, we have technology where it allows for you to, communicate. But I promise you, man, there's nothing like being able to, I'm gonna go see my mom. I'm just gonna hang out with her today. I'm gonna play the baby role today. I'm just gonna go chill with mommy. You know what I mean? Men and women do that. I'm just gonna get away, but I just want to hang out with my brother tonight. I don't want to see your face. I just want to chill with my brother or my sister. You know what I mean? And the hardest thing to do, especially in the beginning, and again, these are things that I've experienced, man, where you're going to this person's town and now you guys are arguing or not in a great space and they have all these options and you're sitting there holding your dick in your hand like, God damn, this sucks. Like, you know what I mean? So these are things to consider in the commitment phase. Understanding the layout of this city. What are my options? How do I get away? Where can I go? Do I have a true understanding of what's what in this city? You know what I mean? And it's for your betterment, because once you get into that situation, now you can walk away, you can take a breath, you can move, you can do this, you can do that. There's a lot of things that can happen. And trust me, man, when you move into somebody else's power structure, it sucks, man, because now you guys get into a fight, and instead of it being a one-on-one fight, sometimes it ends up being 3-on-1 because she's going to gossip with her family. And they heard about it. And the beauty of gossiping, I always tell people, don't talk your business. Do not talk your business, because you can forgive somebody, but your family won't, or your best friend won't. You know what I'm saying? You go to them and you tell them, oh, you know what he did? And he's such a piece of shit. And and you cry to them. And then the next time you see them, you guys made love and you guys made up and everything was beautiful. And this person is looking at your man like, I can't fucking stand this moment. Oh my God, I'm going to punch him in his face. And you're wondering why your girl's giving him an attitude, or why your sister's giving him an attitude. You know what I mean? And when you're dealing with somebody else's town and you're in their power structure, you're going to face that. You got to understand these things. You know what I mean? So the communication, the commitment has to be high. You have to really start to decide, okay, where are we going to live? I'll tell you the biggest mistake people make. The biggest mistake people make is when they move into a new city or a new town with somebody, and, they go to them, they go to their ready-made home. Men tend to make this mistake big time. I moved to X, and I moved into her house with her kids. It sounds good. Oh, it's not good, bro. Don't do that. Don't do that. From an OG, especially to these young kids, young guys out there, that are really on that tip. Don't do that, bro. Do not move. Let me tell you something. There's nothing worse than getting into an argument or getting pissed off or getting whatever, and her treating you like you're a foreigner in your own home. So if you're going to make that commitment, the commitment has to be a situation where you're walking into her life and saying, okay, let's get our little place together, whether it's an apartment, a townhome, or a house. Let's get something together. Oh, but I don't know. No. If I'm walking into this situation, we got to be on the same foot. We got to be on equal footing. We got to be together where both of us can have a mutual say in what goes on. I can't be just getting kicked out. I don't want to be the dude with the garbage bag in the back seat full of clothes. Trust me, I've been that guy. It sucks. You get kicked out of somebody else's house, and you're looking at your sister like, yo, can I crash on your couch? Hey, yo, you know that little extra bedroom? Hey, man, can I sleep on your son's room? All that shit? Nah, that sucks. You don't want to have to go through that. So have these conversations when it comes to the commitment. If you have children, if you as a man are moving in with a woman with kids and you have children, yo, these are boundaries and things that have to be set down economically. Money-wise, you have to have this conversation. Hey, listen, I'm coming to you, but it's very important that I'm here for my daughter or my son for these events in his life periodically. So I need to be able to have this money set aside to be able to take care of that. The worst thing that happens is you move in with this girl You guys start having money problems, and every time you want to go see your son or daughter, she's blacking out on you, talking about, oh, but we don't have money to go on vacation, and you're gonna go see your daughter, your son. Da, da, da. You'll see some of these true colors come out when it comes to money. So these are conversations again that need to be had when you're walking into that commitment phase and you're deciding to be together. There's a level of communication that needs to be had between two people in a long distance relationship. Again, remember, I told you, you only know 50% of who they are. It creates a false sense of intimacy. So what you need to do is you need to, okay, I understand that. So now I have to physically force conversations into all these other areas. You know what I mean? So it has to be an extremely high level of communication between you and your partner when you decide to bring this union together. Like I said, there's different things. What are your family values? Do you like your family over at the house every week? You want them having dinner here twice a week with us? Okay, cool. You know what? I can't stand that shit. No, I don't want my family up in my house all the time. I'm cool going to their house on the weekends, or they'll come in here every other week, but not every day. I don't want your mom up in here. I don't want her cleaning our room. I don't want her walking in. I want to have privacy. I don't want her coming into areas of the house that I don't want her in. You know what I mean? Oh, but that's my mom. These are conversations that need to be had. I know people are going to say, yeah, but that's any relationship, especially a long distance relationship that's trying to come together and form a union. It's so important. What are your morals? Like, what's your moral standard? What does cheating mean to you? Oh, chatting with somebody else on the internet or responding to somebody's text or DM, that's cheating to you? Oh, shit. Because remember, when you're far apart, you're choosing to be together. You love each other, but you're responding to that little DM you got. You're replying on Facebook. You're having chats with people. You're talking to people. You're flirting when you go to, you're flirting at the restaurant. You're joking when you're out at the bar. Nobody's saying anything, right? It's all good. But now, is that same? Can you translate that attitude to the person that you're with when you're finally deciding to commit to them? Or all of a sudden, are you going to see another side of them and be like, oh, I hate that it makes an insecure side of them. I was hurt by my ex, and what all of a sudden you're having arguments because you did not have that level of communication. What is cheating to you? What is it to me? What's the line of respect that we're going to follow? You know what I mean? These are things that need to be talked about. Again, family, values, morals, how to handle the children. What's acceptable to you? What tone do we use in this house? What's acceptable? What role do I allow you to play amongst my children? What kind of say do you have in what they're doing? You know what I'm saying? Are you coming in and I'm giving you carte blanche to discipline them and talk to them and whatever? Or you have to come through me and I have to talk to them. In this house, we don't yell. We only talk. You're used to yelling in your house. Is that something that you're okay with? Can you get with that? These are things. Yep. We have a comment here. When I started dating my now husband, we had those conversations. I come up with so many scenarios. And the fact he didn't run based on that told me a lot about his intentions. Oh yeah, definitely. They stick around, man. If they stick around and they understand, so I'm specifically talking about when it comes to a long distance. Because when it comes to a short distance relationship, these are conversations that you kind of get to organically and naturally, right? Quickly. You can kind of like, okay, I want to be with this person, so let me skip these steps. When you're in a long distance relationship, there's steps to it. Again, there's the initial phase when you're getting to know each other. Everything is beautiful. You're far apart. And I only know vacation them, right? Because every time they come around me, yeah, we're doing cool stuff and we're going on staycations and we're spending money. You know what I mean? But you come ready for that. So you're basically getting a vacation version of the person. In the transition phase, you start to know and size up who is this person amongst their family. Are they the black sheep? Are they the leader? Are they the matriarch? Do they have a lot of pressure from other siblings, from their family? Who are they within their family structure? You're not just paying attention and trusting what they tell you. And third is the commitment phase, when you're like, okay, finally, I need to find out who the other 50% of this person is. Who's this other half that I only got to that I only the other half of the person that I met through the phone, through the little staycations and visiting a couple of times a year and the past. Who's the other person? Who's the cranky, angry person? Who's the person under pressure? Who's the money? Who's the person in the money problems? Who's the money stressing out? Who's the money who had a bad day at work? Who are those people? Who's that person? And during that commitment phase, that's who you get to learn. And that's when you decide, do I love this person? Do I really care about them? And then you have to have a high level of communication. Some would say the highest level of communication, because you have to know morals, values, family structure, expectations, financial expectations. You know what I mean? It was all good that this person would show up and we would go on little vacations and we would do the little cruise or whatever. And nobody was ever worried about who had enough money or not. Everything was cool. But then you get with them and now you're together and you find out that this guy's borrowing against his credit cards and they're maxed out for him to do that. And you have to let him know, hey, no. Time out. That was fun. Now let's set these expectations about our finances if we're going to be together, if we're going to move forward. What are your thoughts on money? There's nothing worse than finding out, right, that you talk to somebody in love and they reply in money. What do you think about when people say, look at how a man treats his mother because that's how he will treat you? It's such a nuanced and layered conversation, right? The one thing I will say is, does he respect his mother? Does he respect his mother does not require him. It doesn't require other things. Respect should be the base. I respect my mother. Is he allowed to resent her? Yes. Is he allowed to have had experiences with her that, don't allow him to like connect with her? Yes. There's things that can come into play outside of just, do you have to, the way you treated mom. No. If I'm a woman, I'm looking at him and I'm saying, okay, look, I get what you're saying, I get whatever, but there's a level of respect that you need to have. Because just because you're pissed, angry, mad, whatever, it doesn't mean that you should lose your character. They say if something changes you, the devil wins. So don't tell me that because of this, you're going to be an angry fuck. You're going to be a nasty prick and you're going to treat her like shit. No. I need you to, at the minimum, treat her with respect. Treat her with respect. Because, again, respect, it takes into account other things. So, like, I could respect you, but I could also resent you. I could respect you and show you the respect, as my mom, the title, but I could also, really like be angry with you about certain things. I could respect you and still, I think resent was the best word. You know what I mean? So yeah, you want to see how a man respects his mother. You know what I mean? Now, does he kiss her ass and keep her up on a pedestal and treat her like a queen and he babies her? Has nothing to do with you. Literally has nothing to do with you. She earned that. That's on her. And is it a reflection of how he's going to be with you? Maybe the affection part, maybe the loving nature part, but no. Does he respect his mom? Does he respect her? Because that respect, it carries across the board in all aspects of his life. That's how he carries. Okay, so I could see that his relationship with his mother is not the best. And she can be a B. And she could treat people like whatever. And you know what? And maybe they don't have the greatest connection. But even with all that, he shows his mother respect. And I think that's what women really need to look at. That's the bottom line. You know what I mean? Because there's plenty of guys that spoil the shit out of their mother, are the sweetest, nicest guys to their mother, and treat their wife and girlfriend like shit. I've seen it. I've seen it like crazy. And then there's guys that argue with their mom all the time and da-da-da. They respect them, but they argue with them all the time. They kind of, bump heads all the time. And they're the nicest, sweetest guys to their mate, to the person that they're with. So other aspects, simple things like, holidays. How do you handle holidays? Hey, listen, I have a daughter. I experienced this. I have a daughter that lives in New Jersey. Me and her are super tight. I love her to death. I want to be able to, There's going to be, oh, you celebrate Noche Buena, you celebrate Christmas Eve, and your whole family gets together. Okay, check this out. I celebrate Christmas Day. Would you mind if I bounced? I'll be here Noche Buena Christmas morning. I want to head out so I can go see my daughter, spend time with her. Oh, yeah, no. You'll find out a lot right there. These are things I'm telling you, like when you're in a long distance relationship and you rush in, you're together, yo, all of a sudden you're like, yeah, I'm gonna leave Christmas morning. What? You don't want to spend time with me and my family and the kids and da-da-da. You're like, yeah, but you celebrate Noche Buena. No, but the kid, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. But remember, this goes back to only knowing 50% of somebody. You know? What do you want your future to look like? Again, these are conversations that should be had throughout any relationship, but specifically in a long distance relationship, because you're talking to someone, right? And their ambition is to own a business and be this mogul, and you want to live on a farm and make your own food. You know what I'm saying? And while you guys were visiting each other and at the pool and over here and hanging out, none of that shit came up because you guys were too busy banging all day, having sex, and it was amazing. And now you guys are together and made the commitment, and you're like, oh, you want to live in the heart of the city. Yeah, I want to live in the heart of the suburbs. Oh, you want to be at the epicenter of town. I want to be away from everybody. You know what I mean? These are things that you learn over time. You know what I'm saying? So it's so important. Like, take your time. Don't rush in. And I've seen it so crazy because, I mean, I've been in relationships where we did the long distance thing for almost a year or two. And then the relationship didn't last 6 months after we moved in together because we didn't have these conversations. I didn't know who she was within her family. I didn't know, what the baggage she brought. I didn't know, what kind of mother she was, her parenting style. I didn't know any of that because I was so enamored and I rushed in and I was with my soulmate and I had to, I put the story together in my head on how great this was. And the truth is, it doesn't work that way. You have to take your time and get to know people. And of course, one of the biggest ones is who's willing to relocate? Who's willing to relocate? Who's going to make the move? You know what I mean? The worst thing is to be with people and you start to fall in love and you're with them and they're attached to their home base and you're attached. I was in a relationship where they couldn't leave because their mother was, relying on them and they had their children and family. And I had my mother attached to me, helping her out. And my, immediate family over here. And I had, property. They had property. And it was kind of like, yo, this isn't going to work. One of us would have to give up what we're doing. And the truth is, maybe the love wasn't at the level, you thought it was. Because if it was, maybe that decision would be a little easier. And it would just get done. But the truth is, these are conversations that need to be had. You have to talk about them. You have to let people know what your intentions are early, man. Because if you don't, they're gonna rear their ugly head. And that's how I feel a good long distance relationship, how it could work. I want to be positive about it. High level of communication, understanding the phases that you're in within the relationship, understanding the other half of the person that you need to get to know and meet, families, values, all that. You got to get to know it. If you do that, if you follow that recipe and you take your time, it can work. It can work and it can be a beautiful thing. I've met too many people that have made it work. I've met too many people that have come from like halfway around the world to be with each other. I know people that, they meet and, initially it looks like an odd couple. And when they get together, they make the sacrifices to make it work. Because that's at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's sacrifice. It's sacrifice to be together. You know what I mean? Like I told you in the beginning, a great relationship is work, not labor. If you love each other and there's reciprocity, it's going to be work. Two people putting in the same amount of energy. If it feels like labor and it's forced, that's one person putting in all the energy and the other person just kind of laying back. It'll never work. But, ladies and gentlemen, they call me the hopeful romantic for a reason. It's because I believe. I believe in love, and I believe that when two people put their everything into something, it can work and it can happen. So, with that, I want to close out. Um, Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you. Thank you for joining me tonight for this episode of the Hopeful Romantic M.A.N podcast. If you didn't get to listen here, definitely check me out on Spotify, Amazon, iHeart, or even the Dropping Dimes YouTube channel and catch me. I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you to the now thousands of listeners that I've had on Spotify, which seems to be like and Amazon, which seems to be the two the Amazon Echo. That seem to be the two places where people are really, really following and listening. I want to say thank you. Thank you so much, man. Like sometimes I'll get on a live here, on Facebook, and I get one comment, two people listening. And, it's a little like, hey, I do it as a passion of love. So it's coming from my heart that I'm putting myself out here. But then I go on like, when you see results and you see the numbers and you see people sending you emails talking about you not qualified for sponsorship and you're doing these set of numbers every week, and these are the different countries and people that are listening to you. I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, because Mark Twain said the two most important days of your life are the day that you're born and the day you discover why. My name is Mr. Dropping Dimes, aka the Hopeful Romantic, aka the feminist with chauvinist tendencies, and I want to thank you all for helping me walk in my why. You guys are awesome people. Awesome.
Me quedo.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I know I'm fine, but the money makes me handsomer. Walk around smelling like a come up in the answer for her problems, but I'm not him, I don't mind it though. You don't like me how you think you do, I like it though. I know I'm fine, but the money makes me handsomer. Walk around smelling like a come up in the answer.